But I'm going to focus right now on the talk a little bit about this cyber attack which is going on. And this is one of these stories where, these cyber attacks, there was that ransomware attack from about a month ago, and that was more focused on Europe. And it was a really big attack. That was the one that hit a lot of hospitals in England. And it's one of these things where the story didn't get that much coverage here, but if the exact same thing happened in America, it would have been like the hugest story, because in that attack a month ago, it was like this ransomware had been developed based on cyber tools stolen from the NSA. So no word yet on whether today's attack is also based on tools stolen from the NSA, but it does seem similar in that it's ransomware, and so perhaps it's also indirectly a result of this information being stolen from the NSA. But I think it's important to talk about these stories because just because it's not happening in America today doesn't mean it couldn't happen in America very soon. Also, I'm someone who just cares about the world, and Right Side Broadcasting cares about the world, so we want to report on the story. And also, we know a lot of you live internationally or care about international news, so we thought this was an important story to talk about. So the basic deal today is that there has been a very large-scale cyber attack which is taking place. It seems to be centered on Ukraine, but it's not limited to Ukraine. And I want to get a close-up here if I can. And now I'm using the program I used to broadcast out to you, just kind of changed unannounced today. So it's a little bit different in a good way, but I'm going to try to do something here. I'm going to try to get a shot up on the screen that you can see of the screenshot, a close-up of this screenshot that people are seeing in Europe and Ukraine when they... Oh, here it is. Let's see if I can get this up here. Okay, I think I have it here. Let me see if this works. Will this work? Okay, you ready for this, guys? All right, here we go. There we go. Okay, so this was posted by someone in Ukraine. I think it was like a government official in Ukraine. Let me see if I can get you the exact person who posted this. Although it'll probably be, I probably won't understand the language. So this was reported by Patrick Revel. Patrick Revel is the ABC News Moscow bureau reporter, and he said that a Russian company had posted this site. It was sent by an oil worker at the company Bashneft, and it was a lockout screen. So some people are seeing this lockout screen here. And if you read the screen, so basically what's happening, a lot of people in Ukraine and other places, and I'll get into that in a moment, are seeing screens like this on their computer. They go to open their computer at work, and they see this screen. And the screen says, oops, your important files are encrypted. If you see this text, and your files are no longer accessible because they have been encrypted. Perhaps you are busy looking for a way to recover your files, but don't waste your time. Nobody can recover your files without a decryption service. We guarantee that you can recover all your files safely and easily. All you need to do is submit the payment and purchase the decryption key. Please follow the instructions, and instruction number 1 is send $300 worth of Bitcoin to the following address. Now, it's interesting it says $300 worth of Bitcoin because that was the exact ransom amount that was demanded in the ransomware attack a month ago. So is this a copycat? Is it the same people? Is it related somehow to that ransomware attack? I don't know, but it's interesting to me that it says that. Now there's actually another screenshot. Let me see if I can get this to you. I want to show you the other screenshot here that I saw, which was slightly different than this one. So I believe the first ransomware attack a month ago only had one screenshot. So the fact that I've seen two different screenshots, I don't know if that means like one of these screenshots is like false reporting, or if it's just that this is ransomware which attacks with multiple screenshots. Let me try and get that for you right now. Let's see. Let me just still get that up here. Where is that? You know what? I think it might take. Did I post it? I'm gonna go back for 1 second to my Twitter here, because I posted this, so that'll help me find it. Let's see. Go to me. Go to, where did I post it? There it is. So this one, it's different, and it says, and you can see this was posted by somebody. I think this person might be in Ukrainian government, but I remember I did check this source, and it seemed like a reliable source. And it said, repairing file system C. The type of file system is NTFS. Do not turn off all your PC if you abort this process, blah, blah, blah. Now, actually, I don't know. This guy sent this, but I don't know. It's weird. I will say this. It's kind of odd that both of these screenshots are in is it odd that they're in English? I don't know how, but the ransomware from a month ago, that was in English. So maybe is English like the lingua franca of ransomware, that you just make sure your ransomware screen is in English because you presume no matter what country it goes to, people are going to be able to read English or translate English? I don't know. Anyway, so this is reportedly another shot of this screenshot here. But getting back to my original point, let me go back to that other screenshot there. That's the one you're seeing more. So this ransomware has affected a lot of, first of all, let's start out in Ukraine. It's affected Ukraine's airport, a lot of Ukrainian banks, the Ukraine's main power company. So this is very significant, like infrastructure it's affecting in Ukraine, preventing, I know they, what was I going to say? Some of the banks, like the ATMs, aren't working, and if you go to the airport, like you can't see what the flight screens telling you what flights are going out aren't working. So it's kind of scary that it's affecting the infrastructure there. But it's not just Ukraine. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, it is also spread. It is also hitting Maersk. Maersk, located in Denmark, is the biggest shipping company in the world, and their computers are being affected by this, and they're having serious problems with this ransomware at Maersk, the shipping company. Also, Rosneft, the state oil company now I don't know if they call it the state oil company, but basically is the state oil company in Russia. Their computers are being affected. And also, I did see some Russian firm that works with Ukraine is being affected. So it's widespread, and it's hitting these infrastructure, these big companies and companies that have to do with shipping and power and travel. And that's really scary, and it hasn't happened in America yet, this widespread. But to me, there's no reason to think why that this could happen in Europe and it won't happen here. And can you imagine if one day we wake up and all the airports can't work, or the power doesn't work, and the banks and the ATMs don't work in America because of ransomware like this? And it seems like it's certainly in the realm of possibility because it's been happening. This is now twice in a month in Europe it's happened. And now I did see some speculation with the ransomware attack. Oh, and let me first say, if I would be interested in hearing any of your thoughts on this matter. Maybe some of you are cyber experts and you have expertise in this area and you have some information perspective you'd like to share, or you just have comments or questions about this. I probably won't be very good on the questions because I'm not very fluent in all of this cyber stuff. But if you have comments or questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am at @Lookner on Twitter, @LOOKNER. Would love to read your comments. You can also email me at steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. So we'd like to hear from you about this. But what was I going to say? A month ago, that ransomware that affected the hospitals in England and a lot of other European computers and computers around the world, that ransomware, there was a theory going around that it was caused by some group located in North Korea. I never heard any confirmation of this, but that was a theory going around. The theory I've been seeing today is that this ransomware was originated in Russia because Russia has, over the last few years, ever since Ukraine basically became independent from Russia and chose leadership that wasn't like the Russian designated and the Russian supported leadership. Russia has been acting out against Ukraine. If you remember, they took over Crimea. They've been launching a number of attacks with their undercover soldiers and supporting attacks in eastern Ukraine. There was a big cyber attack. I don't know if it was a month ago or a year ago, but it was quite a big cyber attack. It was sometime in the last couple of years, and it knocked out a bunch of power in western Ukraine. I read a big article on this recently. So there's been this campaign by Russia to I read a theory that says they're trying to destabilize Ukraine because they want to make the government look bad over there. So different theories as to why Russia is in this ongoing campaign against Ukraine. But ultimately, it seems like it's rooted in Ukraine's trying to be more independent from them, maybe leaning a little more toward the West. And so some people think that this ransomware, because so many of the computers have been attacked in Ukraine, that perhaps it was directed toward Ukraine by Russia. But again, I have no confirmation of that. So this is a very big ransomware attack, again, affecting lots of infrastructure in Ukraine: banks, airport, power company. What else did I say? I can't remember. I know there's other things. Also, in Denmark, Maersk, biggest shipping company in the world. Rosneft, the oil company in Russia. So very widespread attack, demanding $300 in Bitcoin. ATMs aren't working in Ukraine, from what I've seen, and demanding $300 in Bitcoin to unlock your computer, just like unlock your files, just like the ransomware a month ago did. I'm going to do a quick check on my messages. Again, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you have some perspective on this. It wouldn't surprise me if you had more perspective on this than me, because I don't have a lot of knowledge of how computer security works. So reach out to me if you'd like, at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, or email me at steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. And what else was I going to say here? I don't know. Let me check your messages and see. Okay. So thank you. Scotty P writes, in the second screen I showed doesn't mention Bitcoin. It's not from the virus. It's a utility to repair the hard drive and is not a virus. So maybe when I get done here, that makes sense, Scott, because it doesn't mention Bitcoin. I'm looking at my tweets here. I'm going to delete that tweet because I had questions about it myself, and Scotty, you're raising questions about it. So I'm going to delete it because it doesn't. I'm not sure about the provenance of it. Provenance? I don't know. Provenance? I'm going to say provenance. So I just deleted that. I like to be responsible on my Twitter feed and delete things when I feel like they're not up to snuff. Now, I did think it came from a reputable source, but I also, because I can't read Ukrainian, there's probably an explanation on the original tweet of what it was. Let's see here. I'm just going to check and see if I have any more comments from you. I don't want to miss any. Greg Jackson writes in these attacks, it is assumed the computer files that are encrypted, but that is not the case. If this is the same as the last one, it is the account permissions in the registry that are changed, among other things. It is a simple malware attack that makes it seem worse than it is. So thank you, Greg. Now, I can't really offer more on what you said because I'm not fluent in that, but the basic idea of what you're saying is that it's not the files that's encrypted, it's the permission to get into the computer. It sounds like something like that. So thank you, Greg, for writing in. And let's see here. Let me just do a quick check on something. And I want to really quickly check, actually, and just make sure that while we've been on the air here, there's no update about that situation at the Alabama Army base. Because, oh, this is interesting. I have another tweet for you here. By the way, this is Right Side Broadcasting. Before I show you this next tweet, which is a little update on this story, which we're covering, the cyber attack story. Right Side Broadcasting, we are a viewer-supported channel. We rely on your donations to stay on the air. We don't have like a big donor who, we don't take money from big donors who control what we say. So for example, when we want to come on the air and do a story about this European cyber attack, we can. I'm guessing if you went on the mainstream media news networks today, you probably wouldn't see a lot of coverage of the cyber attack in Europe. I think you'd probably see a lot of Russia stuff because that's what you're constantly seeing on there. But so we wanted to come on and do this story today. But if you would like to donate to us and help us stay on the air and do these kinds of news stories, very easy to donate. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can just donate in the chat room next to the broadcast. There's a YouTube chat at the bottom of the YouTube chat. There's a $sign. Just click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. You can donate that way, or you could go to rsbn.tv/donate. Also, for those of you who watch Right Side Broadcasting, we do have a new 24-hour feed where we're showing broadcasts from Right Side, old past President Trump rallies that we've been to and done coverage of. We're showing those. So we're showing all kinds of things on this 24-hour channel. So be sure to check out our 24-hour live stream channel, which is at Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube. Okay, let me get to this tweet here that I want to show you that just came out. What's the best way to do this? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm still getting used to this new system here. All right, I'm going to go full here. There's me full. All right, now I'm going to get this tweet ready for you to show you, which I just saw here. Let's see. Looking at this this stream from Terror Events. Okay, so Terror Events on Twitter just had some interesting tweets. Hold on, I got a text here. I got a text, an interesting text from Joe Seals, CEO, writes out, and he said the active shooter situation in Alabama is at the same place the terror suspect was arrested a few weeks ago in Huntsville for planning some sort of attack. Now, I have no confirmation on what's exactly going on with this active shooter situation. I haven't really seen any facts reported about that, so I'll keep an eye on it for you and let you know about that as the situation warrants. But let me right now show you some of these tweets from Terror Events, who I follow on Twitter. And Terror Events, let me get that over there live. Okay, there we go. So, and by the way, Mr. Liveline Solutions just donated $2 Canadian that says thank you RSBN. Really appreciate it, Mr. Liveline Solutions. The donations like that are why we can stay on the air and do this coverage. So, let's see. So this person, Mikko Hyppinen, says. So I guess this new program is called Petya. And the one a month ago was called WannaCry. And this person, Mikko Hyppinen, says, new Petya uses the NSA external blue exploit. So WannaCry was not enough of a wake-up call. You would think everybody would be patched by now. This is interesting. So according to this person, Mikko Hyppinen says that this, oh, and by the way, John PS30, thank you. You just donated $20, says RSBN 24/7 News. Thank you, John PS30. Very nice of you. Thank you. So this person, Mikko Hyppinen, is saying that this malware attack today, this ransomware attack, is using the same exploit that was gained from the NSA when information was stolen from them. And they're saying you'd think people would be patched by now. So the original ransomware attack a month ago, that took advantage of a vulnerability in computers, which people could have patched. Microsoft had already released a patch for it, but what happened is a number of people don't actively update their computers. Workplaces don't actively update their computers. So that ransomware virus, WannaCry, a month ago, affected those computers that had not been patched yet. And this person, Mikko Hyppinen, I don't know if they're right. Terror Events retweeted them, but they're claiming that it's the same exploit, it's the same problem that this with computers that this ransomware today is affecting. Is the same vulnerability in computers that was around a month ago is the same one that's being used by this ransomware today, and the people who are being affected are just companies who still haven't patched their computers up. Now, I don't know if this person, Mikko Hyppinen, is right, but it's an interesting claim. So, and there was another claim here I want to show you from the Terror Events feed here. A couple more. Look at this one. Terror Events is reporting that Chernobyl's radiation monitoring system affected by cyber attack. Spokeswoman. So that's kind of scary if that's the case. And let me say again, this is not happening in America. Well, let me say this as we go. Let me look at this. They say cyber attack spreads to U.S. Now there were some U.S. computers affected by the WannaCry ransomware attack about a month ago. It wasn't nearly as much as in Europe. So I don't know. I mean, for all I know, this Terror Events tweet is based on like 2 computers being affected. So I can't tell how widespread this is. But I should say again, we have mainstream media in America has a tendency to focus on America's stories, and if it's a story like this to me is so important, not just about what's going on in the rest of the world, but how it affects America. And it just seems like it's only time until this kind of thing happens in America with a bigger, more America-based attack, and that's really scary. We have it affecting so much infrastructure, airports, banks. Oil companies, power companies, possibly radiation monitoring. So it's a very important story, and it's scary that these things are happening. And they're happening seemingly more often. Ukraine is saying, according to Terror Events, they're saying Ukraine Security Council says signs of Russia involvement in hacks, according to Reuters. I'm going to retweet that. And as I was saying before, there are some rumors around that this could be the work of Russia and it could be an attack on Ukraine, or at least directed at Ukraine. Although cyber attacks can be directed somewhere and then get let loose and go beyond their intended target. As we heard before, Rosneft in Russia seems to be affected by this today. Okay, so those are some tweets. Let me go back to me. Hold on. To do this, it's a little bit of a different system now, so let me do this. Okay, so let me, I'm going to get some more information for you. We're covering the cyber attack here. The cyber attack going on in Europe and spreading perhaps to the US a little bit. And I'm going to do a quick check here. There's another story we're following about a possible active shooter in Alabama. I've saw some things about it about 15 minutes ago. But Joe sent me a text about somebody I could look at for that. Let me just do a quick check of their Twitter before I go back to the virus, the ransomware story. Okay, so I'm going to show you some tweets. Let me show you some quick tweets. Thank you, Joe, for that heads up about that Alabama local channel. So let me show you this right now, real quick. So this is a tweet from the local Alabama, this is a Tennessee station, WHNT, and they're saying Huntsville police are helping out with possible active shooter at Redstone Arsenal, all gates shut down, employees told to shelter. Possible active shooter, they're saying cannot confirm or deny any injuries, so we'll keep an eye on this, but for right now all we know is possible active shooter. Okay, I'm going to get to a couple of your comments. Some people sent in some comments. Would love to hear, we're covering this large cyber attack in Europe. Would love to hear your perspective, your comments. If you want to write in, I'm at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, or you can email me at steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. Also, once again, we are viewer supported at Right Side Broadcasting, so if you'd like to help us stay on the air and bring you news coverage like this, you can either, in the YouTube chat room, it's very easy. You can donate by clicking at the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat room next to the broadcast, or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. All your donations are super appreciated because they let us do this and bring this news to you. Okay, let's see what people are writing in. We Will Prevail says, Steve, do you know how successful the hack was last month or how much money they were able to make from the hack? That's a good question. I was following this. There was a site I was following on Twitter until recently, which had a running total of how much that Bitcoin account had accumulated from the hack. And as of a couple weeks ago, I think it was only $180,000, which is not a small amount of money, but it seems like a lot of people that not that many people paid given how many people were hit. Because if it was $300 to unlock your files and only in 180,000, that means like only 600 people paid. So I don't know what it ended up being, but it seemed like people were able to figure out a way to either get their files back without paying, or they just started up again or got their files some other way, or just forgot about their files. I don't know, but it wasn't that much money according to the account I saw, which was good because that meant people that were able to get their files back, presumably. Let's see here. Solomon's Temple says, how long do you think media will ignore fact that NSA lost their hacking tools? Great question, Solomon's Temple. A clear and present danger that could shut the world down, yet no journalist has even asked how. Well, I think some journalists have looked into this, Solomon's Temple, but I see your point. When, why, where these are lost. I find it ironic that we get informed by the guy our government says is the security risk, Julian. So thank you, Solomon's Temple. And you know, when the first ransomware attack happened and it came out that the first ransomware attack was definitely helped to happen by an NSA cyber weapon that had been stolen from them. So the NSA let this get out, and then it was used in ransomware. No word today on whether conclusively this is the same, whether this ransomware, no word conclusively on whether this ransomware is based on NSA cyber weapons that were stolen. But I do think, and I said it back then, you know, it's to me, it's a giant story. And to me, if in that last ransomware attack, it was America that was hit, and it was the same story, but America was hit, and NSA and the ransomware was developed from NSA tools, that would have been like one of the biggest scandals of the decade. And yet it was barely talked about, really, the whole NSA aspect of it. And it's just like the difference between, just because it happens to be happening more in Europe than here, it goes from like giant crazy scandal. You would have congressional hearings nonstop and everything, and people getting fired and resigning, and the president talking about it and all that stuff. But because it wasn't focused on here, none of that's happening. So now I'm sure someone in Congress is looking into it, but it has not been a big priority as far as I can see, and certainly among the press, not gotten that much coverage. So I think it's a great question, Solomon's Temple, and it's really scary. And supposedly there are many more of these NSA cyber weapons out there that haven't been used in ransomware attacks yet, and haven't been used in other attacks yet, and that could be used. And who knows? You know, we know that WikiLeaks has all this CIA cyber weapon code. They haven't released it publicly yet, but they say they have it. And if they have it, maybe somebody else has it. Maybe somebody else has bought it. Maybe somebody's shopping that stuff around to like North Korea or someone. So it's really frightening, and it's a big story, and I find it very worrying. And it doesn't receive a lot of press. And it's the kind of thing that if it does finally happen here, that's when it's going to receive press, when it could have been receiving press longer before that. So I do think it's an important story. Now, part of the reason it doesn't receive press is because the press is constantly talking about Russia 24 hours a day, but that's neither here nor there. All right, let me check up. I think some other people wrote me here, and I want to get to your comments. I might have been caught up. Okay, and hold on a second. I gotta just check this. Let me also, I want to do a quick check of my news sources to see if there's any more updates on the actual cyber attack. By the way, we are going to have the Sean Spicer briefing. Sean Spicer is giving it today, I believe. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a pre-show for that, as we always do, probably about 45 minutes before the briefing, and it'll start so at about an hour. So you can come back right here at Right Side Broadcasting. If you want to know about our videos, and you haven't done this yet, feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you do. And when you do that, it will alert you every time we go live with a video with like new news. You can get alerted. Also, hello everybody on Facebook watching today. Hi, how are you? As well as YouTube. Hi, people on Facebook and YouTube. People on Facebook love when you share our video. That really helps people know about Right Side Broadcasting. So please feel free to share our video and like and follow us on Facebook as well. And you can follow us on Twitter to get Right Side updates at RSB Network on Twitter, and I am at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Send in your comments if you'd like. Okay, I'm doing a quick news check of the cyber attack, and I am seeing, these reports: possible security incident at Redstone Arsenal, which is a U.S. Army installation in Alabama. No hard info on that yet. When I get more info, if I have it, I'll give it to you. BNO News, I'm retweeting this, says no immediate reports of casualties. And again, these active shooter reports, sometimes they come out to be an active shooter, sometimes it turns out it was a false alarm. So we'll just keep an eye on it and hope it's a false alarm and there's nothing really going on there. So I'm not really seeing more at the moment about this cyber attack. Let's see. Politico EU has an article. Let's see if they're reporting something about this. I'll actually show you this article that I'm looking at right now. This is from Politico EU. So I got to go to here. So Politico EU says, here's the picture. Says cyber attack underway on Europe's energy and transport companies. So it says it what looks like an outbreak of malware like the global WannaCry attack last month. Russian petroleum company Rosneft confirmed its systems were under attack. The transport company Maersk, we already talked about that, confirmed in a tweet that it also suffered an attack and its system were down. I wonder what that tweet says. Let's look at what their tweet says. Oh, that page doesn't exist. Well, sorry, they took their tweet down, I guess. Security researcher, Ukraine. It looks like what happened with WannaCry. Computers affected. Show message. All right, this is all information. And then I have at the end there it says Ukrenergo, one of the affected companies, was the target of a severe cyber attack that downed the energy systems in large parts of Ukraine last Christmas. That was the one I was talking about. But for the most part, you had already gotten the information in that article from Politico EU already on this broadcast. So we're going to stay on a few more minutes here. I would love to hear from you if you have any more perspective on this cyber attack, which is demanding. Let me show you that screen again. It's been a couple seconds a few minutes since I showed you that screen, so I think it's helpful to see that that screen that people are getting in Europe in this cyber attack. Let's get that up here. Here it is. I need to do this. There we go. So this screen, people are getting a screen like this where it says you can't get your files. You got to send $300 worth of Bitcoin to the following address to unlock it. Quite similar to the WannaCry attack a month ago. It's affecting lots of infrastructure in Ukraine, banks, airport, energy companies. It's affecting companies in other countries too. The shipping company Maersk, biggest shipping company in the world in Denmark. Russia state oil company Rosneft. So very big attack here. And I would love to get your perspective on this. So while we're on the air, if you'd like to write in, I am at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, or email me steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. And let me know what you think about this. Oh, and I got a message from Zortza saying, can you recap the cyber attack? I think I just did, because you sent me this message about 7 minutes ago. So Zortza, I think I got to the recap. Greg Jackson writes, Greg, I read your email already. Thank you. Connor Wells says, Connor Wells says, hello, Steve. The cyber attack is like what happened in the NHS in the UK a few weeks ago. The Ukraine is already blaming Russia for the hack. I'm not convinced as Russia is affected as well. Do you think major governments could be affected by these cyber attacks, as the UK Parliament was a victim on Sunday? So I haven't heard of any major governments being affected by this in terms of like government, Parliament or government agencies and stuff like that. So I am not aware, but you never know. Something I also read about these attacks is they can spread. So just because the Russian company Rosneft is being affected doesn't mean that this wasn't originated in Russia with the Russian government, because it's possible for these things to go spread beyond their target. But I don't know who it originated with. I'm just saying that just as a counterpoint to your point, but I understand your point on this. Also, you say the Ukraine has said the virus is WannaCry, the same one that used when the NHS was attacked last month. I've heard some reports it's similar. I haven't seen any reporting that said Ukraine is saying it's the same thing in some sense. I'd like to hear more about that, Connor, but thank you for writing in. And let's see. Darren Giesler says, contact them and ask them to crash e-logs. LOL. I think that's like a joke that's over my head, Darren. I don't understand what e-logs are even. So maybe if you feel free to write back and explain that to me and our other viewers. Another message from Greg Jackson. Greg says, the most predominant attacks I'm seeing is Sality 3 and Sality 4. It's not at the level WannaCry was. That's according to our viewer, Greg Jackson. Let me just do a quick check here on Twitter and see. Is this from Redstone Arsenal? Let me real quick just show you this tweet here. We've been talking mostly about the cyber attack, but we've also been keeping an eye on this situation of a possible active shooter at this Army base in Alabama, Redstone Arsenal. And Redstone Arsenal just tweeted something out. So let me show you that real quick. Sorry, here it is right here. So, it says, possible active shooter on the Arsenal. Possible. Installation is locked down. Run, hide, fight. So once again, we're seeing possible active shooter. No confirmation that there is an active shooter. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Let me just keep checking here, see if I can find you anything new about anything. No confirmation of shooting or injuries. It's under lockdown. I'm also looking for some updates about this cyber attack. So I think, all right, so no updates about that. I'm not really seeing updates about that or the cyber attack right now. So I think in a couple minutes here, I think we're gonna end the stream and then come back very soon for the pre-show for the Sean Spicer press briefing. Again, we're gonna have that live at Right Side Broadcasting, and that's going to be at the briefing itself is going to be at 2 p.m. and the pre-show is going to start around like 1:15 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be back for that. Again, I'll just repeat one last time because it's important. I hate having to repeat this, but I have to because it keeps us on the air. We are viewer supported. Your donations keep us on the air. So if you'd like to donate, we'd really appreciate it. Even small donations really help us out just to stay and cover this stuff. So you can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Or if you're watching on YouTube, so easy to donate. Just go to the chat room next to the broadcast and click on the $ at the bottom of the chat room and donate that way. Thank you to the moderators, by the way, who moderate the chat room both at YouTube and at rsbn.tv. Really appreciate your hard work moderating. And I want to just make sure I'm caught up on all your messages. Oh, Darren Giesler says, because Darren Giesler originally wrote in, contact the people running the malware and ask them to crash e-logs. And I said, Darren, what does that mean? And Darren says, it is how hours of service are going to be regulated for all trunking companies and truck drivers. So now I understand the joke a little better. Thank you, Darren, for clarification of that. I got some a little update here from B&O News that I'm going to show you about the cyber attack. Let me just show you this. Go to here, and then I'll do this, and there we go. So if you look here, this tweet from B&O News says, cyber attack victims include Maersk, Rosneft, Ukrainian government computers, Kiev airport, Ukrainian banks, Ukrainian power distributors. That's a lot of infrastructure there. I'm going to retweet that. And also you can see up here, can you see that? Is that available on your screen? No, so I'll let you see it in the smaller here. It's sort of, it's above, up there's, well, I thought there was a nasty word on the screen. There we go. You can see it. That third tweet down from B&O News says, Chernobyl nuclear power plant affected by ransomware attack, forcing radiation monitoring to be carried out manually. No threat. No threat. And I'll show you this tweet. We've seen a bunch of tweets like this. Sean Costigan tweets. I don't know who Sean Costigan is, but he was retweeted by somebody I know. A wake-up call for the world to appreciate cybersecurity. Oops, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this stream up now because we got to come on again in a little bit and talk and bring you the Sean Spicer press briefing. So I appreciate you all joining us today here for this coverage of the cyber attack in Europe. If you feel free to, if you want more breaking news coverage, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. We're at RSB Network. I'm on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I cover a lot of breaking news stuff on my Facebook page. So if you like Facebook breaking news, you can follow me on Twitter. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the notifications bell so you get updated about all of our news broadcasts like this one. So thanks to everybody. Thanks, Joe, for your help while I was on the air. I'm going to see you in a short time for the Spicer briefing. So for now, from everyone here at Right Side, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you very soon.